So lately I have gotten some comments on my videos requesting me to take a look at Corsair stock, mainly since Jeremy from Financial Education added the stock to his portfolio. So today I will finally talk about the company, analyze their financials, their growth, and give my point of view on this company. If you're new to my channel, welcome, consider subscribing and smashing that like button since it really helps the channel out with the algorithm. And also I have a completely free Discord group chat, reason for that is down in the description below if you would like to join. So Corsair is a leader in PC parts and models. You might even have any of this on your PC right now. They specialize in gear for gamers and streamers to be able to have a sick setup. Not only gaming and streaming gear, but they also sell PC components, gaming PC, and even software. Even though the company went public last year, it was founded in 1994 and now it has 23 primary product lines, with many dominating their own market. As you can see, they are second in keyboards market, third in mice market, fourth in headsets, first in memory, cooling solutions, and power supply units, and many more. And they have been able to achieve that due to their strong brand recognition and excellent reputation that they have had for years, which, as you can see, back in 2016, they received over 4,000 product awards in approximately 45 countries. And with esports and streaming demand growing massively this past year and even more in 2020 with the pandemic, they have seen a nice growth as well. As they explain here, while more players join the gaming industry and streaming industry, more viewers every day, which directly leads to new customers for Corsair, and that is why they have invested more and more money in publishers, sponsors, advertisers, team owners, leagues, and many more. Plus, we do have to take into consideration that many PC gamers are constantly building and upgrading their PCs, that they like to individually construct their favorite PC. As you can see, their revenue is divided between gamer and creator peripherals and gaming components and systems, which both segments have had an excellent growth for the whole 2020 and Q4 2020 as well. Impressive that in Q4 their gamer and creator peripherals revenue increased 104%, and gaming and component systems 57%, but overall they saw a growth of 70% for Q4, which obviously we know that Q4 tends to be higher for several companies since it is holiday seasons and gifts tends to be technology, but we also had the pandemic and lockdowns and people working from home, plus kids also staying at home increased the amount of gamers, streamers, and viewers, which increased their revenue and sales. For the fourth quarter, they reported a net revenue of $556 million, which is an increase of 70%, gross profit of $153.8 million, a whopping 118.3% increase, and their operating income a whopping 314.2% year over year. Something to take note is that their cash flow from operation was $68.6 million, which increased from $36 million in the same period a year ago. Now, on a yearly basis, their revenue grew 55.2% year over year to $1.7 billion. A gross profit increase of 107.5% to $465 million. Operating income was $158.4 million, an increase of a whopping 568% year over year. A net income of $103.2 million, which, as you can see, it was a huge improvement for the company because they have not been profitable in 2018 and 2019. In 2017, they were profitable, but still very slow growth in their net income. But something we do have to take into consideration is that their operating cash flow is excellent and growing. In 2020, they reported a net cash from operations of $168.9 million, all the way up from $37.1 million in a single year. That is, as said before, a whopping over 300% growth year over year. Now, remember I told you that 2020 massively accelerated their growth? Well, they obviously know that and mentioned that they are excited to see the market for gaming and streaming products grow at such pace. It is clear that a new wave of gamers and streamers has entered the market, and as well as consumers building gaming PCs for the first time. Now, I'll talk about something they said about their debt, but let's check their balance sheet first. They have cash and cash equivalents of $133 million, $293 million in accounts receivable, and a whopping $226 million in inventory. Then, total assets of $1.3 billion and total liabilities of $876.7 million, which obviously is high, the amount of debt that they have, but as they said, we are extremely pleased with our financials performance for the fourth quarter. We have paid off an additional $50 million in debt during the quarter, making the total debt repayment to $190 million for 2020. We do expect to continue to use our operating cash flow to reduce our debt and continue to invest in growth. Well, as I said, they are having an excellent growth in cash flow from operations, and that is what is helping them to reduce their debt, which is going to help them continue investing in the company to be able to grow even more in the long term. Now, for the 2021 outlook, they are expecting a revenue of about $1.8 billion to $1.95 billion, which would be a growth of 14%. They are expecting adjusted operating income in the range of $205 to $220 million, which would be excellent for them, and adjusted EBITDA in the range of $215 to $230 million. While analysts are expecting a growth of 11.9% for the year in revenue and a decrease in earnings per share of 1.6 to $1.55 per share. Still, analysts are expecting the stock to go up on average 53%, and even the lowest point expected is still a 15.8% increase from today's price. Even more impressive is that there are zero sellers, since all are basically recommending to either buy the stock or just hold it for if you already own it, but most of them are recommending to buy the stock, which means that there is a lot of bullishness around the company and the stock. As I would assume, everyone is expecting the growth to continue, as many people will continue staying at home and many new users will start streaming and gaming, which would give them a nice growth. Obviously, their expected growth for 2021 is not as high as what they saw in 2020, and it is normal because it is hard, in my opinion, to surpass such growth that was pushed by an external factor, in this case the pandemic. Now, my thoughts on everything. Corsair has had a pretty successful 2020 with an excellent growth. The stock is up a little over 84% since they went public. We do have to take into consideration that the popularity of video games is a trend that will most likely continue even after the pandemic, since esports is also expected to continue growing worldwide. Corsair has done a very good job adapting to their markets and being able to create nice future potential. We all know it takes time and money, but they are doing a very good job. If you ask me, I don't see why not to invest in this company. It is a nice stock to look into. I'm not saying I will invest in this company right now, since I'm focusing on my current investments, and I also think that Corsair is having a slow growth, even though it's nice, but I think that they could do better. I think that I'm investing in companies with a higher growth than Corsair right now. Might be riskier, but I think that that is what's going to give me a nice long-term potential. And also, I'm investigating another industry I want to enter first before the gaming industry. Simply, I can't buy every excellent stock out there because there's a lot of money and a lot of research to be done, but I can say that I like Corsair and their long-term potential, and don't see gaming on streaming companies slowing down right now. If you enjoy the content, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, to help me fight the algorithm and finally win. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.